Your 5 human senses, sight, touch, smell, hearing, taste, send more than 10 million bits of information to your brain every second. We can't possibly take it all in consciously, but even this is the tiniest percentage of the information in the physical world surrounding us. The light we're able to see, it's only one small section of the electromagnetic spectrum. Birds and bees can see and interpret parts of it that we can't. Dogs can hear and smell things we don't even know exist. Our brains are less data gathering machines than data filtering machines. So knowing that we are all just making our way through this human experience without even the possibility of full information, what are you ready to stop Googling and researching and figuring out? You don't need more information. You just need a little more resolve. Hello, Veg heads. You're listening to Veg Your Best, the plant-based podcast. My name is Michelle Olander. I'm a certified life coach, a practicing vegan, and I'm here to try and convince you every week to show up, eat more plants, and not wait a single second longer to set an impossible goal, whatever that is for you. Episode 18. Do you need a resolution? Happy New Year, Veg heads. Happy New Year, everyone. Here at Veg Your Best headquarters, we're planning the upcoming months of 2021, which at the moment seems to primarily consist of practicing writing the year correctly over and over on scrap paper to avoid making embarrassing mistakes like last week when I was absolutely certain it was Sunday and couldn't figure out why the mail was delivered. Of course, it was only Saturday, but it took an embarrassingly long time for that penny to drop. So hopefully, wherever you are when you are listening to this episode, whether that's the near future or far, you know roughly what day it is. And if you're listening when this episode drops, which is January 5th, 2021, you may be surrounded by discussions, either personal or in the media, of New Year's resolutions. I imagine your email inbox and social media is full of ideas to help you with your resolutions. Lots of information for you. I have a rather laissez-faire attitude about New Year's resolutions. I know there is kind of a tendency to poo-poo resolutions these days. And yes, it is kind of arbitrary to choose January 1st as the date to start some new weight loss regime or protocol, or smoking cessation, or a break from drinking. We all know my area of life coaching focus is helping people move away from a diet which is overfilled with animal products and towards a vibrant, whole food, plant-based way of eating. And if you've listened to the podcasts, you know I never urge anyone to wait for January or Monday to make a better choice. The time to eat well, it's either right now or at the next meal. That's what I teach. How you fuel your body, how you nourish your body and brain, it's simply too important to wait for a new week or a new year. But I make resolutions. I take on new goals all the time throughout the year. I try to do only one or maybe two at a time because that's the essential life coaching teaching, this idea of constraint. sticking with one goal and staying with it, becoming someone who picks a goal, picks a direction, picks a focus, and commits, perseveres, learns, and becomes someone who makes goals happen. And the goal is, well, I won't say never, but it's seldom as important as who you learn to be to make that goal happen. And that is a person with resolve. And that's where I make my distinction for myself and for my clients: resolutions versus resolve. Resolutions are sentences, the way I look at it. They're sentences. I will stop smoking. I'll drink a gallon of water. I'll read a book every month. I'll stop drinking. I'll save more money. I'll monitor my blood sugar every day. I'll work out. I'll practice French. I'll cook at home twice a week. I'll stop eating ice cream standing up in front of the fridge. I'll practice the guitar. I'll floss my teeth. I'll write a book. Resolutions, sentences, and arguably all very good ideas too. And we choose these resolutions, most of us, based on what we think is likely to be good for us, based on what we know, the information we have at the moment. And who could be against that? Not me. But there are a couple of caveats, right? Because if a day or two goes by and those resolutions are not maintained, there is this very real, very universal human tendency to just start forgetting about the goal or the resolution. Either to forget it or to start beating ourselves up about it. Because perfect doesn't exist. It's a fantasy. Better yet, it's a delusion that we beat ourselves with. You know what I'm talking about. The resolution is, for example, I no longer eat meat. Then in mid-January at a brunch, you're offered bacon. And then, well, a couple weeks later, you eat a burger. And then 2 or 3 other events, or, well, maybe that's enough. And the resolution is retired, or forgotten, or deemed impossible, unrealistic. And instead of thinking about all the meals that you didn't consume meat at, you notice the few times you did, and you throw away the resolution. Remember, that resolution was just a sentence. I no longer eat meat. And what I think is ever so much more important than keeping your resolution, living by that sentence, it's not the sentence. It's not the thought, I don't eat meat. It's the feeling of resolve. You guys know, based on what I know, not eating meat is part of the optimum way to eat. It is part of living kindly and compassionately and responsibly on this planet. But eating a whole food, plant-based diet is not, in my opinion, the be-all and end-all of human achievement or of human development or growth. But developing the emotional muscle of resolve, that's another thing entirely. A goal, a resolution, it's just an opportunity for you to give yourself the experience of growing your resolve. To be a resolute human being, to be a woman or a man with resolve, that is a skill set, a muscle. It's something we learn and develop. We're not born with resolve. And yes, I do believe some babies are born with more or less frustration tolerance, or maybe different focusing or attention styles. I'll never be the one to say that we aren't all wired a little bit differently. But resolve, that is a practiced emotion, and it's not an emotion that requires perfection. A woman with resolve notices where the plan didn't work, and she tweaks the plan. She doesn't beat herself up or forget about the plan. A man with resolve notices the unanticipated discomfort and gets curious why the goal seems so hard today, rather than abandoning the goal as too difficult. As a life coach, I've worked with people on a variety of goals and resolutions: financial goals, work goals, weight goals, relationship goals, and my primary area, plant-based and vegan goals. But none of those goals is as important as who we get to become by pursuing those goals and resolutions. We get to become people of resolve. People who solve for the problems of reaching those specific goals. Because let me tell you, yes, I do think eating a whole food, plant-based diet is the best way you can eat for a host of reasons. It's a way to hedge your bets against the most common causes of chronic illness and premature death in our society. But how you get there, who you become while learning how to accomplish that goal, that is everything. If you're an adult who has lived for decades eating the standard Western diet and you move your way, even imperfectly, towards a plant-based diet, I guarantee you, you will be absolutely transformed. Transformed not just from a health and nutrition point of view, but transformed in what you see as possible in your life. That's why, as a life coach, this is the area I focus in. I want you to veg your best because I believe the process of moving away from the default corporate food choices available to us develops that emotional muscle of resolve. And resolve is applicable everywhere, in every endeavor, in every relationship, in every struggle, in every new undertaking. Resolve, that feeling of returning to the issue, tolerating some discomfort, solving for the problem over and over and over until it's resolved. That is something you will only want more and more of in your life. And I cannot think of a better way to live this one human life. January, new year, new week, wherever you are, whatever day it is when you listen to this. You know that old saw, it's 5 o'clock somewhere? Well, it's the new year starting every day. And if you've had a resolution that hasn't gone the way you wanted, even if it's been years that you haven't been able to accomplish that resolution, that does not mean it isn't possible. It doesn't mean you need a new plan or more research or a different process. It doesn't mean you're incapable. It only means you haven't done it yet. And if you look a little closer, I bet you will see that you have done it sometimes, maybe often, and you're not giving yourself enough credit for what you have accomplished, for where your resolve has been enough, and where it's grown. Is there more to do? Yes, probably, but not because you need to fix yourself, not because there's anything wrong with you. Growing your resolve, exercising your emotional resolve, that's just something amazing, something awe-inspiring, something fun. It's something mind-blowing to accomplish. If you would like some company on that journey, it would be my honor. And if you are listening in early 2021 and you aren't exactly sure what your thoughts are about this brave new year, follow the links in the show notes to my website and download my 2020 end-of-year review. A lot of journal prompts are in there to do yourself or with your partner, family, or team to see a little more clearly what you accomplished last year and what you want to bring with you into the new year, and what you're ready to say, yeah, thanks for the memories, but I don't think I need much more of that. I highly recommend you take a look and spend maybe 30 minutes or so. That's the 2020 end of year review. I think you'll find it valuable to see how you want to use and develop your resolve in the year ahead. And if you would like to discuss your goals, go to michelleolendercoaching.com and you can make an appointment. There's a button there that takes you right to my calendar. And those consultations are free. We can talk just about you and how to get started, especially if you're not sure that you've quite got all the resolve necessary. Vedge Your Best podcast production, music, and editing by Charlie Weinshank. Thanks, Charlie. Before you go, it would mean so much to me and the Vedge Your Best team if you would hit subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, or share with someone you think might be interested. Something about algorithms, it helps bump us up a little in the rankings, and that's the best way to help others find the podcast and for us to find our audience. So, until next week, make it easy and veg your best. Happy New Year, Vedgeheads.